Students, back to study time. Yes, we'll continue with chapter number 2 of economics. Our today's first topic is difference between economic development and economic growth. So development is a continuous process. It is a multi-dimensional process, as we studied in our last session, because it includes qualitative plus quantitative changes. Whereas on the other hand side, growth is occurrence, it is an event. Second difference is development includes both quantitative as well as qualitative changes. Yes, qualitative changes means increase in standard of living apart from increase in income of the person. Whereas growth includes only quantitative changes, that is increase in the income of people, increase in the quantum of production. Third one is development. We consider the utilization of unutilized resources. The resources which were not used previously now are used. Whereas in growth, more emphasis is laid on distribution of resources that are already available. Fourth one is very simple and easy. Development is for developing countries, whereas growth is for developed countries. Next is economic development is difficult to measure because it includes such changes in the society which are difficult to measure. That is obviously the qualitative changes. Whereas on the other side, as only quantitative changes are included in the growth, so it becomes easy to measure it. Next is the concept of development is broad as it includes growth also, as it includes, as I said earlier, qualitative and quantitative changes, as it is a multi-dimensional process. So the concept is said to be broad. Whereas on the other hand side, growth, the concept of growth is narrow. Economic development is related to the distribution along with per capita income. So we are supposed to see over here that with the increase in per capita income, there is proper equitable distribution also. Whereas growth is related to increase in per capita income. Next, it is a slow process. Development is a slow process, whereas growth is a rapid process. Ninth and the last difference is that economic development is not possible without growth, whereas growth is possible without development. Yes, that is why Mr. Graal-Merier has stated that development is growth plus change. Now we move on to our next topic, that is indicators of development. Now, a country has progressed or not? If yes, then how much it has progressed? How do we come to know that the country has progressed? So, the answer of all these questions is the indicators or the factors that are helpful in identifying the development of a country. Over here, with the help of these factors, even the comparisons can be made. There are 4 different factors. Very first one is growth rate of national income. Second, growth rate of per capita income. Third is quality of life, physical quality of life index. In short, it is known as PQLI. And fourth one is HDI, that is Human Development Index. Right now we will start with growth rate of national income. Now, if there is continuous increase in the real national income of a country for a long time period, then it is said that the country has attained economic development, else not. So, if the rate of rise in national income is high, then the development rate is high. If the national income increases at lower rate, the rate of development is low. Very simple and easy. But if there is no change in the national income, it does not rise, it depicts that there is state of stagnancy, means no change. and if the national income decreases, then it is said that there is negative development. Now over here, real income and not money income is taken into consideration. Hence, national income is calculated not at the current prices but at the constant prices. Now we will go through the numerical expression of it, which says that if we see the numerical expression, we will find that our country, that is India's annual growth rate of national income, is better than other countries. But that doesn't mean that those countries are not improving. But it should be remembered that countries like Norway and America had impressive growth rate already, though they are growing at a rate of 2 to 3% per annum in the present situation. Next, we move on to the limitations. Very first one is difficulty in calculating the true national income. Difficulty in calculating depreciation. One of the reasons why it becomes difficult to calculate true national income, because there are different methods of calculating depreciation. Next is income earned by unlawful activities. Tax avoidance means not to pay the tax. Tax evasion means to pay less tax than what you are supposed to pay. Barter transaction, we all know, money is not involved over here. Goods are exchanged against goods and services. Illiteracy, employment of a person in more than one occupation, makes difficult to estimate the true national income of the country. Next is population. We should know the extent of population over here. Now, if the growth rate of national income is less than the rate of growth of population, then the development is said to be negative. For example, if the growth rate of national income is 6% and the growth rate of population is 8%, so over here we can say that population has grown more than the national income, then the development is said to be negative. Now, vice versa. If the growth rate of national income is higher than the growth rate of population, then the development is said to be positive. So, same example, that growth rate of national income is suppose 8% and growth rate of population is suppose 6%, then we can say that we have developed. The third one is different methods of calculating national income. Yes, students, last year we studied that there are three basic methods of calculating national income: production method, income method, and expenditure method. When a country's national income is measured through two different methods, the result, instead of remaining the same, differs. Yes, the result will change if I calculate India's national income with production method and with income method. So over here, different countries opt for different methods. So as the methods are different, the answers will also change. So over here, comparisons become difficult. Our second indicator is growth rate of per capita income. Now, per capita income, to be very simple and easy, per capita income is per person's income. The formula of it is gross national income of a country divided by the population of the country. So, same over here, it is same and simple as national income. If it rises continuously for long time period, then we can say that there is development. Over here, the ultimate objective of economic development is to improve the standard of living of the people. It is said that per capita income is said to be better indicator than the national income because it shows per person's income. Now over here, in the tabular expression, we will see that per capita national income purchasing power parity 2014 in US dollars. Countries are given and growth rate in percentages given. But before that, what is purchasing power parity? When exchange rate between the countries become equal, when the purchasing power is same, is said to be purchasing power parity. So if we see and if we compare over here, the per capita income of our country in 2014 on the basis of purchasing power parity is 5497 US dollars, which is lower than Norway, US, China and Sri Lanka. Now compared to Norway, India's per capita income is said to be 11 to 12 times less. So we can say that the growth rate of Norway is better than our country's growth rate. But the rate of growth of per capita income in India is higher, so the rate of development is faster. If you see the last column, the growth rate of our country is higher, so we can say that we are developing at a faster pace. Next we move on to the limitations of it. Very first one is estimates. Now over here the estimate is related to the population. We all know the population census are conducted in our country after every 10 years. But over here the per capita income is calculated after each and every year. So we estimate the increase or decrease in population. So these approximations, these estimate as are taken into consideration, they might be or they might not be right. So per capita income data is not acquired correctly. Next is difficulty in calculation of national income and per capita income. Now we have already discussed about the problem in calculation of national income because there are different methods. So in the same way, per capita income should be shown at current price or constant prices, and their related difficulties make it difficult to calculate. The third is per capita income shows only an average. It shows per person's income, but in real, has the distribution been equal or not is what we don't know. So that is why this is one of the limitation. Next is difficulty in comparison. The per capita income of different countries are expressed in their respective currencies. So obviously we need to convert it. We need to convert it into US dollars and then the comparisons can be done. But different countries of the world impose different controls on exchange rate, and real exchange rate cannot be known. So that is why it is said that it is difficult to compare. Next and the last limitation is per capita income of a country is not actual income that a citizen gets. So we say that per capita income hides more than what it reveals, and hence it is not a correct indicator. So students, that's it in today's session. Hope to meet you soon. Thank you. Bye. Students,